All right, we've got a Dead Space extended gameplay walkthrough trailer thing. All right, just relax.
Hi, my name is Philippe Ducharme, senior producer on Dead Space.
What's going on?
Today, I'm here to give you a first look at one of my favorite sections in the game. So we find ourselves here in
This should be the hangar, right?
the Ishimura's hangar at the beginning of Chapter 3.
Right there. It's right there. That's where I probably saw it, like, in my head.
We're going to make our way towards the control room in engineering,
I do miss the old Hammond voice.
where we'll attempt to restart the ship's engine.
Just watch it.
For those of you who remember the original, the hangar was much smaller than it is now.
Bigger.
We get to explore this location and literally fly through it before heading to our destination.
Okay, that's cool. So they're adding it. They're adding zero G where there wasn't before. Z to land. Z to land.
Navigating between chapters without load screens or having a camera cutaway is part of how we've reimagined the Ishimura for the
Okay.
remake.
That's cool too. No loading scenes.
We don't need to rely on the tram as the sole way to get between chapters.
What? Okay, so that confirms that they built new geometry and there's new areas because if you can fly between areas or walk there or whatever, can you also use the tram? That's interesting. Okay, I like that. I'm glad they're adding new stuff.
It is now a seamless, interconnected ship.
Maybe the ship's just wide open. You can just go wherever you want, barring some objectives preventing you. It's sort of like loosely like Prey, maybe. Prey 2017.
Entering vacuum.
What?
The ship.
He flew through like this thing.
Entering vacuum.
Interesting. Yeah, they got like a whole loading dock and everything here. Okay. I like it.
We've got two lurkers here. You can quickly get rid of them with the pulse rifle or Isaac's trusty plasma cutter. There aren't many traditional firearms on board.
He didn't even get rid of them. He just shot them both, and then and then they didn't die with the pulse rifle. And why can you quickly dispatch with the pulse rifle? Does the pulse rifle have a bonus against lurkers? And the plasma cutter is far easier to use than the pulse rifle. It's easier to land the attacks on their tendrils.
Survive, you may have to improvise and choose how to take each necromorph down.
There's no animation for oxygen still.
We're now entering the ship. We have a lot to show you, so let's skip ahead to Chapter 3.
They don't need to hype transitions, just show the stuff.
We've just received a briefing to head over to the refueling station.
I don't like his
Head
movement.
over to the refueling station.
His movement is kind of rushed. Let's look at this longer.
To get there, we're passing through the machine shop over here.
They sped it up. His walk is faster now. It's not for the better. The point of the walk is you can walk and aim and you can go slow. The slow movement is better for building tension. And also it's weird because okay, I gotta go for this. When you're like this, where's my camera at? You're like this and you're crouched, it's because you're in a state of fear and you're aiming your weapon around, right? And you're thinking about at any moment you might need to jump and you're a smaller target. When you walk with your chest puffed out like this is confident, not puffed out, just like a normal standing. This is more confidence and it's not fear. But what's weird is that he has the arch in his back and he's moving quicker. People don't walk that way. It looks a little odd in my opinion.
Passing through the machine shop over here.
And then you could run. But when you run, you lean forward. The top half of your torso is leaning forward in a run. So I don't know, it's a little bit strange. It's too fast. They got to slow it down by 30 to 40%. The run can be faster. That's fine. But the walk needs to be a slow, heavy, atmospheric clunk, clunk, clunk. Not dut, 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 dut. So
If you needed to backtrack
that's a minor critique.
or simply wanted to explore the ship further, you may encounter a completely different experience.
Okay, I'm listening.
Different enemies, the ambience and lighting may change. This
cool.
is what we call the intensity director. It keeps the Ishimura unpredictable and brings some additional tension and challenge.
Look how dark it is. It's actually really dark. I like how dark it is. The lights actually make sense in that darkness. Is that a new enemy? Hold on. Oh no, it's the scorpion. It's the, I call them the scorpion enemies. I forget what they're called. Slashers, lurkers, brutes, twitchers. I forget what these things are called, but they have like a scorpion tail kind of thing. They changed the sound. They look good though. And so now if you go back around places, they shuffle enemies and stuff like that. I like that too. I like that. I like to get surprises when I explore previously explored, or rather, if you backtrack or do additional exploration, I should say. I like that has new enemies and they shuffle some stuff around. A bit of RNG there is good.
The way to the refueling station is just a little further ahead.
He's too fast. It looks weird. I don't like how fast he is.
As you can see, some memorable moments are authentic to the original. We've added tons of graphical enhancement that support strategic dismemberment.
Okay, I'm gonna read into this moment here. He says, as you can see, some memorable moments are kept, aka that's a static encounter. That enemy will always spawn there as like a jump scare, which lets me think that maybe outside of the particular jump scares like this, a lot of it is procedural enemies, which is cool. I like that. I like having different situations when you play through the same content. So if I'm right in assuming that, that's also a good thing in my book.
Using Kinesis, we'll bring that gondola over and make our way to the south refueling station.
If they add, because the last time I made a video, I said if they need to add stuff, because I don't want to buy it. If it's literally the same game with a facelift, maybe on sale. But now they're adding new areas. They're adding new ways to navigate the ship. They're shuffling the enemies on you, which is good. If they add some weapons and some new enemies, I'm gonna get it. Be scared.
We need to gain access to the
too
fuel
fast.
management office, which contains the power functions for the refueling station. We can follow that cable to find our way there. One of the things we tried to achieve was to add more context to the various objectives, to expand on what was there, and bring a bit more detail and depth where we could.
Why do you need the cable? Doesn't your objective marker, the little thing that trails you around, doesn't that take you right there anyway? Is it just a visual? Wouldn't that be interesting though, if you could turn off the objective marker thing and you have to rely on environmental clues? That could be kind of cool. Do a little bit of actual engineering in your head, okay, where does the red cable go? That could be kind of fun, right? Go for the legs. Go for those legs. I hope they add surprises. So one of the enemies in Dead Space 3 that was pretty good was they're humanoid. They carried axes or something sharp like that. If you go for the legs, they'd often mutate and transform. If you go for the upper part, then it would transform a different way. That I like. And on a side note, that might be a thing in Callisto Protocol too. So they should add mutations to the enemies here. That could be really cool. He's weirdly fast. I can't get over it. Doesn't look right at all.
The refueling station has no power. We can look for a way to access the fuel management office.
There's a tension music.
This card should allow us in, and we can now make our way back.
Isaac. Hammond.
Daniels? You made it.
Thank God. After the bridge, we thought that...
Glad to disappoint. I barricaded myself in the computer core. I can hear them, but I don't think they know I'm here. Isaac, I tracked down your rig. You're an engineer, right? I'll get myself admin privileges. Maybe I can help.
Now that
Dude, she should be whispering. She should be like, I don't think they know I'm here. I'm bunkering I'm in this little computer room, and I'm gonna type in this computer. I'm gonna talk to you over the radio, and I'm not gonna say a thing.
that we have access to this room, we're faced with a very tough choice. We could cut power to life support and rely on air canisters for oxygen, but today we'll play a section without lights instead.
That is really cool. I like this. It's kind of like a choose your poison moment. What were the options again?
Life support and
South refuel
Rely on air
station, life
canisters.
support, and lights. That is interesting. You have to have power for the objective. And you're choosing to cut the lights on yourself or cut the life support on yourself because the monsters... Now, what if you could sneak? What if there's not stealth elements, I don't think. We saw in Close to Protocol stealth. Jacob was like, went up behind a monster and then right in the back of the head with a knife. But still, the option here is very cool. Choose your poison for this engagement. I would cut the lights. I don't like being rushed in a game like this. You know what I'm saying? I like taking my time and being efficient. But that's very... I like it. This is a good change. These are all good changes so far. The only critique I have is that awkward walk.
we could cut power to life support and rely on air canisters for oxygen, but today we'll play a section without lights instead.
Gotta show off that cool lighting. It does look good. Clunk, 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 clunk. Better environment for kills. Because like in Dead Space 1, that was like minimal damage, and then in Dark Souls, in Dead Space 2, they made the piercing, the javelin type functions, which was really cool. You could pin them against the walls, but that was a kill shot. It'd be cool if you could pin them against the wall when they're still alive as like a stun. That'd be awesome. He's not checking his corners or nothing. He's just like, I would be like looking around like, oh my gosh.
With the power restored, the South refueling station can now be activated.
Decontamination sequence activated. Please stand
Oh, this moment, I remember this.
In the
Pretty good.
decontamination room, using new tech, we've cranked up the tension.
This place annoyed me because you had to do it like several times. Dead Space 2, you had to do it again several times. I think it was 2. Yeah, it was 2. He's gonna come in right
Dynamic
about.
smoke creates that thick and opaque atmosphere that makes you lose track of the lurkers, even when they're
Look to
right
your
next to
right.
you.
Give him the boot. That was lame. That was not a good kick. It didn't sound good. It didn't go flying. I don't like that kick. Let's watch that again. Okay, think about where it is on the ground right now. It's about a foot from his foot. It literally goes like 2 feet. That thing should be punted. He needs to wind up better for that. It needs to be a full follow through. I didn't like that animation at all. Oh, look at the blood on the screen. It's like the cameraman behind us is like, we're getting blood on the screen. Bad. It wasn't good. That's another critique there. These are relatively minor critiques, but like the kick there was pretty bad. The walk's not very good. Oh, it's not even dead yet. Took damage.
It adds to the claustrophobia, the feeling of being locked in with a pack of necromorphs.
So they had this volumetric smoke and fog and light and stuff. You can't see through it as well. Clogs up your senses, so to speak. Come on, bro, aim on that thing. He's playing on easy for sure. Took almost no damage from that. Jumping
Our last stop is the centrifuge. It's offline, and the Ishimura's getting dragged down to the planet below.
Original. It is an old game.
Please attach generator modules manually.
We've added so much detail in here. Particle effects, lighting, floating debris. We wanted this room to be imposing and tell a story at the same time. It's a lot more impressive, and its size makes it harder to keep track of the incoming necromorphs. So audio plays a huge role here in identifying the direction of
Oh, look at that. He's like taking the
Necromorphs.
flesh off it. You can see his ribs and stuff.
So audio plays
Watch the part right here.
a
He kind of hits right here.
huge role here
Misses, and he hits him. Boom. Look at that.
in identifying the direction
Gnarly
of
gore
threats.
system.
With one of the generator modules back in place, we can head to the second one. Flying in zero-G and not being anchored to the surface makes spatial awareness extremely important. Combat encounters can quickly become deadly, especially with leapers.
A leaper, that's what they're called. I forgot that name. Leapers got ridiculously fast in Dead Space 2 and 3. They moved as fast as Twitchers. They got weirdly fast.
And now, with the generator modules powered up, the centrifuge is ready to be activated.
Generator module attached. Clutch engaged. All personnel clear for centrifuge restart.
I hope you enjoyed this sneak peek at the new Dead Space. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you
It's warming up too fast. It's got to start up slower than that. Look how big that
enjoyed
thing
this
is.
sneak peek at the new Dead Space. Thank you for tuning in.
Frostbite. I didn't know it was Frostbite. Was that the other Dead Spaces? This is very promising in my opinion. I would like to see some new tech with the enemies, a mutation mechanic, or better AI, new weapons, new enemy types, maybe new areas. I am a huge fan of crafting systems in these kinds of games, but maybe not everybody is, so that would be cool for me. But yeah, I think it looks good. I may get it now. Last video I said I wasn't going to, unless they added this stuff, but it's feeling like maybe I might get it. I might not cheap out on it so hard. So yeah, cool. Can't wait to see more.